Bon.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Are we ready back there? All right, let's call the meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for September 8th, 2020 to order. And with that, we will ask our Commissioner Hartung, would you please lead us in a salute to the flag?
Madam Chair, it would be my distinct honor to do so. Would you please join me while we salute the greatest colors in the world? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. And with that, Madam Clerk, we'll go to roll call.
Bob Lucey, Chair, via Zoom or telephone?
Here.
Thank you. Is that on the phone, sir?
I think he sounds
No, on Zoom.
Oh, okay, thank you. Vice Chair Marcia Burkbigler,
here.
Kitty Jung via phone,
Present.
thank you. Von Hartung,
Here.
and Jeannie Herman is absent this morning. We have County Manager Eric Brown, Assistant District Attorney Dave Watts Vial via Zoom,
Here.
I'm Nancy Parent, County Clerk. You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And with that, we will move to public comment. And Mr. Manager.
Per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the commission agenda. The commission will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the commission as a whole.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Madam Clerk, I see we have 3, and we will start with a voice message from Anne Marie Grant.
Nine 2020 County Commissioner Meeting, Agenda Item 3, Public Comment. Anne Marie Grant, sister of Thomas Purdy, hogtied by Reno PD for 40-plus minutes, then asphyxiated while hogtied up at Washoe County Jail. I was up at the jail yesterday peacefully holding a sign for my brother when I was then surrounded by 6 deputies using their intimidation tactics to try to make us move. Didn't work, but I would like again for you to hear my brother's last moments of his life. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. Please turn them. Pull this out. Don't you understand that we're trying not to talk right now? You gotta make your leg out, but you can't take it off your arm. If you put his legs up, you put his body down. You gotta watch his legs, man. The other option, we can go do the just control his arms. Sorry, you want to switch over me? If we get him flat, we can leave the cup. I'd like to also know why, in the latest body cam footage that are released, the deputies and/or officers' faces are blurred out. It's time for killer cops to be blasted out to the community.
Okay. Is that it? Is that the end of it, Madam Clerk?
I assume so,
All right.
because I can't tell other than the time.
Okay. With that, then we'll move to an email from Elise Weatherly.
This email is from Elise Weatherly, sent last week after the meeting, asking that we play it at this meeting. It says, just to let you know, after having read the Washoe County School Board President Melina Raymond and Trustee Angela Taylor pressured Trustee Kelly to resign because of integrity issues, I'm asking a man I know, who also knows Ms. Taylor, to stand up in objection to her being on the school board, the main reason being integrity issues. This is a small example of breach of promise that Ms. Taylor calls herself a pastor, using the Bible as her foundation when the Bible clearly teaches that women are not to be the head of the church or their marriage. Yes, a woman can be anything she wants to be in the world, but in church and in marriage, the man is to lead. We'll keep you posted on the public charges we make. Let's make Washoe County strong again. Elise Weatherly of the King's Conduits, business closed for now, will reopen once I am allowed to go out and work. And that email will be placed on the record.
Thank you. And then I see one more email from Daniel Purdy.
This email is from Daniel Purdy, received this morning. Daniel Purdy, brother of Thomas Purdy, murdered at Washoe County Jail. And I'd like to inform you, yesterday I was at the jail with my 12-year-old son and was surrounded by 6 deputies trying to intimidate us to move over to the so-called free speech zone. I've invited all the members of the committee to come out and feed the homeless, which I did yesterday in your community, and will be doing again today, along with voter registration once again. You are more than welcome to come and show your community members how much you care about them, but I won't hold my breath. I find it very cowardly of one of your deputies. He actually placed his hand on his weapon as some sort of intimidation tactic I find highly disgusting. Those are just some of the actions of your sheriff deputies. And as they all approach us, we are covered with our mask, yet none of them had a mask on, which just shows they have no problem getting sick and spreading it to the inmates population. You are all invited to our Saturday, 9/12/20 at 12:30 federal courthouses. This event is organized by local families, and we have lost a loved one to police in our community, in your community. To me, for all your support, all of your community members. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no more. Do you have anything else, Madam Clerk?
I am not aware of any other emails. And do
Anything
we have
on
any-
Zoom? All right, in that case, we will close public comment and bring it back to the board. Mr. Manager.
Item number 4 is Commissioners and County Managers' announcements, reports, and updates to include boards and commission updates, requests for information, or topics for future agendas.
Thank you. Do you have anything, Mr. Manager?
I have a couple of items for this morning. First, I want to, this is an item that I know both you and Commissioner Hartung have advocated for. Washoe County today launches its small business grant program for those businesses that have been impacted by COVID-19. Funding is available to assist small businesses impacted with expenses like PPE, utilities, and rent and retrofits. We're partnering with the Nevada Association of Counties, or NACO, and small businesses are generally defined as businesses of 50 employees or less. People can visit the NACO website, which is at naco.org, naco.org, for more information. And today is the first day that applications are being accepted.
Good.
Second item is just a point of clarification. There's been a lot of confusion, I would say, in the community over the last week or so out of the outcome of last week's Nevada COVID-19 Mitigation and Management Task Force meeting, which occurred on Thursday. This is the, I believe, the third meeting, second meeting that occurred of this task force. The first occurred on the 27th of July. And at the meeting on the 27th, the county and the health district did submit a reopening plan to the task force, requesting that they consider reopening our bars here in northern Nevada, and making the point that based on our read of contact tracing results and disease investigation results, we were not seeing evidence that the spread of the virus is occurring as a result of bars or restaurants, but out of private residences. And our request was that the task force consider allowing us to reopen the bars in a responsible fashion, because at least then the municipalities, whether it's the county, city of Reno, city of Sparks, health district, could enforce social distancing, wearing of masks, and other measures that we know to be effective. On the 27th, the task force denied our request to reopen the bars and indicated at that time that they wanted to take 2 weeks to continue to work with our county and other counties that had petitioned for reopening. So the meeting last Thursday, I'm sure there were some people who maybe were dialing in for the first time and wondered why we didn't make a more forceful attempt to reopen. Well, we have been told the week before that that would not occur at the meeting last Thursday. And further, I would want everyone to know that Chair Lucey Our health district officer, Kevin Dick, and I were on the phone virtually every day with the task force members, trying to come up with a viable solution for getting our bars reopened. We are in the preparation of a updated reopening plan that will be submitted this Wednesday evening for the task force meeting next Thursday, but I just thought I would clarify for many folks who are upset that the bars were not allowed to reopen and wondering why Washoe County and our other municipalities didn't make a more formal request. That was a direct result of the communications we were having with the task force. I would also point out to the public that the commissioners do not have the ability to change this. This is sitting with the task force in the governor's office. So for those of you who are frustrated, and I know you are because I am as well, with the fact that we have not been able to reopen the bars and are wondering why our local officials aren't doing more, they are. And again, we'll make another attempt at this Thursday's meeting, but I just thought, Madam Co-Chair, or Vice Chair, I'm sorry, that I would make those comments this morning. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Manager. I see that Commissioner Hartung has some comments. Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it. So, Mr. Manager, I'm glad you made that clarification, because I get contacted by people who want to know what we're doing and that we're somehow not trying to defend them. And what I would say also, Mr. Manager, you may recall back in March and in April, I wrote a white paper, and that white paper outlined a number of methodologies that could be used, and perhaps we can dust that off and try to approach them again, especially with outdoor venues. I just don't see that there's any reason why casinos can be open, but yet bars cannot. And so it's frustrating. And then I'd also like the county to concentrate on kids' sports and practices. I believe that it can be done safely, and I think that we owe it to these families to let them get back out there before the seasons end and before the weather turns again. On a kind of a similar note, we, Madam Chair, at Regional Governing Board, gave permission to Jeremy and his staff to work on the COVID meter. I think that we need to allow the manager the opportunity to look at that, see if it's viable, and if it is, and we have extra CARES Act dollars, to put some of those CARES Act dollars at his discretion towards them, completely at his discretion. And we could set a cap of, say, 10 or 20,000, whatever it happens to be. So I'd like an agenda item that brings that back, where we can actually either give him permission or not, or gives direct permission to spend those dollars, again, if we have them and they are available. As everybody knows, we've got to spend those dollars prior to December 31st, and it has to be COVID related. So if we find that there's value there, let's support it. If we find that there is no value there, then we won't. Very simple. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hartung. I have a note here from the chair that he would like to speak. Chair Lucey?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Can you guys hear me okay? Madam Chair, can you hear me?
Yes. Could you speak up just a little bit?
Sure. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate the comments this morning. As Manager Brown did point out, we have been working diligently with the task force on our mitigation plan to be submitted to the state. We do plan on doing a more robust plan and bringing that forward. We have been in concert with Clark County. But some of the challenges that I fear, one of the other challenges that I bring forward is, as of this morning, we did receive a report from the state based upon the criteria put forth. And as of today, Washoe County has now dipped into non-compliance in all three criteria through testing, our positivity rate, being that we are very close to all three of those numbers and just basically on the cusp. However, we still, at this time, based upon the numbers, are in non-compliance, which is frustrating to me. And that is going to be one of the things that I would bring forward to the task force when I meet with them in the following Thursday. Along with that, to Commissioner Hartung's discussion in regards to youth sports, I believe not only will we be bringing forward a plan to look at bars, but we'll be looking at youth sports and our playground equipment, and also churches and congregation in our church facilities. Those are going to be the three more robust plans that we will bring forward. We have been working, as you know, Madam Vice Chair, with Chairwoman Kirkpatrick out of Las Vegas. I'm out of Clark County, and also Commissioner Larry Brown in regards to some of the youth sports issues. So these are the challenges that we continue to work on. We know it's frustrating for a number of the community, but as Manager Brown pointed out, this is really in the purview of the governor's office and the task force. But I wanted to reassure our commission and the general public that we are working diligently to create those plans and come with a very robust presentation for them. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate you chiming in on this. Let me give Commissioner Jung the opportunity to speak. Commissioner Jung, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I understand the pressure to open. However, if we don't do this in a data-driven approach, we will sink further down in our ability to manage this virus. And I think that, again, if you ever want to open up youth sports or churches or bars, we better be able to assure our constituents that we have enough tests, most importantly, a very quick turnaround, and then the most important part, enough contact tracers, and, Mr. Manager, I'd like this brought back to us, enough social worker case managers who should be managing it from the human services side, from human services, especially in light of, much like the jail, where we are not putting people in the facility, and we know with the Child Protective Services how much our caseload went down. We do have the bandwidth, and we also have CARES Act money to fund those. We have to have social workers there too, because what we're seeing in terms of the spread is for people who just can't not go to work. Vis-a-vis, they can't feed their children, they can't pay their rent, etc. So that they need to be managed more from a social worker's perspective, not just from the health district. Finally, that are not home rule, and that means every single thing that we are able to do in those cities must be blessed under NRS or through the cities through their own charter. And we can never be more loose than anything that the state tells us to do. We can be more strict, but we can never get looser simply because this is not a home rule state. And we really should be telling our constituents, after we've explained that very boring fact, that we should look up for them, and they should be calling their legislators and asking them to maybe suspend some of that so each of us can fulfill our own destiny with the boots on the ground. And I argue the government that is closest to the people most knows the people, and that's us, the elected here at the local level. So those are my 2 points, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jung. I appreciate your comments. Well, I have a couple of comments also. One is to touch bases on what Chair Lucey said. It concerns me a little bit that, it actually concerns me a lot, frankly, that the state is expecting us to do a certain number of testing on people, but we can only test people who come to us and want to be tested. And if we're not meeting the number, it's not because we're not offering the service. We have the capability to do it, but people are not coming forward to be tested. And so that, I think, is a point, and I hope, Mr. Manager and Mr. Chair, you will both point that out to them when you put the plan together that you're going to put together for this Wednesday. That really concerns me a great deal, that the county is being held responsible for something when the opportunity for us to provide the services there if we just have the people who come to us and want to be tested. So I don't know, maybe there's a suggestion for something more from a press perspective we could do to get people in to be tested. I don't know what the answer is. But certainly, we shouldn't be held responsible for that. Additionally, I wanted to just touch bases on the issue of the messaging. I know all the commissioners, as well as the county manager, received numerous calls, texts, and emails from people. And I think most of us, I know that the county manager had some clue as to what was going on, and I know that the chair did, but I'm not sure the rest of us really knew what was going on. I didn't know what to say to people who said, why didn't you fight for this harder? And so maybe one of the other things, Mr. Manager, is if it could get to the rest of the commissioners, maybe it'd be a little more clear to us, and we could kind of tamp down the frustration a little bit, although I know people are very frustrated. So I do want to also touch bases on the delivery fee cap that I have talked about in the last two meetings. Clark County was able to get a 15% cap on delivery commissions and other service charges imposed on retail food establishments by third-party food delivery services, such as Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, all those kind of guys. They were able to get that on within a two-week period. I'm not sure why we can't do something similar, and I really would like to ask staff to please bring us a report back on this ASAP, and if we can get some language in to try and put that in and enforce it, that would be really wonderful. Again, I expressed my concern that seniors are, in their homes, they're not going out to eat, and they're ordering food, and they're getting gouged by some of these people. And these are people who are very frequently on income caps, and so they shouldn't be getting gouged. And then the other thing, I just want, on a positive note, I want to thank the manager for notifying us that we have received the grant from the Community Foundation of Western Nevada for the River Steward Program, which we are working with Grant Denton to get on. I know it's going to be before TUMWA meeting on the 16th, and I'm hoping that TUMWA will definitely vote yes to approve this. This is a great project where we have somebody who really knows the river and really knows the homeless people who live on the river, and can get this project up and running so that we're really cleaning our river, which we desperately need to do. So thank you, Mr. Manager. I appreciate that you have worked so hard to get that grant approved. Anything else? Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the item for meal deliveries, Mr. Manager, can we make sure that we understand how they're licensed? Are they licensed just through the county, or my assumption would be that they also have to have a permit through the cities?
I'm sorry, for
The
meal deliveries?
Yeah, Grubhub and
Yes.
DoorDash and et cetera. They're going to
Yes,
have a
and-
business license. So
and
we
com-
want to be able to work backwards.
I agree.
In that process with each one of the municipalities, because even though they have a license in the county, they can actually forego the license in the county and just operate under a city license.
Well, technically, they can't do that, but okay, yeah, I agree.
Well,
Let's not step in the
yeah.
conversation. Otherwise, our district attorney will be yelling at us. So anything else?
That's what I'm asking for.
Okay. Anything else, Commissioner Hartung? Any other commissioners? Anything else? Mr. Chair? Okay, with that, we will close number 4 and move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Manager?
Okay, we're recommending items 5A through 5J, 5I, I'm sorry.
Any changes, Mr. Manager? Any questions? Commissioners, any of you want to make some changes, pull something, ask questions about anything in the consent agenda? Hearing none. Do we have any public comment on anything in the consent agenda, Madam Clerk?
I'm not aware of any emails.
Any Zoom? Okay. With that, I am looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries. Thank you, guys. All right. Chair, Commissioner Hartung, you're not the chair yet, but you can. Commissioner Hartung, do you want to give us a block vote?
I would, Madam Chair, I would ask for your indulgence on items 7, 8, and 9.
All right, Mr. Manager, would you read those for us?
Do we
Sir.
get a second for the block? Do you need a
Oh,
second?
do I need a second for the block vote?
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, Mr. Manager.
Item number 7 is a recommendation to accept FY21 fund to assist former foster youth sub-grant award from the State of Nevada Department of Health and Human Services Division of Child and Family Services in the amount of $190,000, no county match, retroactive to July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, to provide case management and related service delivery to youth aging out of foster care. Authorize the Director of Human Services Agency to retroactively execute the grant award and direct the Comptroller's Office to make the necessary budget amendments. Item number 8 is a recommendation to accept the FY21 John H. Chafee Foster Care Program for Successful Transition to Adulthood, Chafee Program Subgrant Award from the State of Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Child and Family Services, in the amount of $236,810,000, $59,203 county match, retroactive from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, to support youth who are aging out of the foster care system with achieving greater independence. Authorize the Director of Human Services Agency to retroactively execute the grant award and direct the Comptroller's Office to make the necessary budget amendments. Item number 9 is a recommendation to accept Nevada Cares Community Food Program Response Program Grant Award from the State of Nevada Department of Agriculture in the amount of $280,000, no county match, retroactive to the period of July 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, for the purchase of 5 meal trucks and fuel for the Human Delivered Meals Program. Authorize Director of Human Services Agency to retroactively execute the grant and related documents, and direct the Comptroller's Office to make the necessary budget amendments.
Do we have any public comment, Madam Clerk?
I don't see any emails, Madam Chair.
Okay, anything on Zoom? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Guys? Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries with the 4 commissioners present voting and Commissioner Herman absent. Mr. Manager, I think that takes us back to 6.
Item number 6 is a recommendation and possible action to accept the resignation of Washoe County Clerk Nancy Parent, effective December 23rd, 2020, and to appoint Janice Glacini as Washoe County Clerk pursuant to NRS 245.170, Section 1B, to serve the remainder of the unexpired term of Ms. Parent, effective October 23rd, 2020.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Madam Clerk.
Hi, Nancy Parent, Washoe County Clerk. As I advised you a couple months ago, I plan on retiring and at my 20-year anniversary in October. And it's been my privilege to serve the citizens of Washoe County for the past 20 years, and having been elected twice to be your county clerk. It's been very fulfilling and rewarding for me, and the highlight of my career. I thank you guys for your support. I thank all department heads and everyone that I've worked with over the years in Washoe County for their professionalism and their assistance. And I especially want to thank my team in the clerk's office for their commitment, hard work, and dedication, especially the last 6 months as we change daily with circumstances surrounding the pandemic. We've accomplished a lot during my term of office, but a couple of things I'm most proud of are the preservation of our permanent records. The county clerk's your independent record keeper of the Washoe County records dating back to 1861. And we've, in two ways, in the last 8 years that I've been in charge, we've preserved that in that we found out that the microfilm was deteriorating where it was stored on county property. And I was able to hire a vendor, an outside vendor, to come into the office and physically scan all that microfilm and put it digitally. So it's preserved in the condition as it was when we scanned it. And then what we had staff do, we saved $100,000 by having my team in the clerk's office do the quality control of over 4 million images that had been digitized. And most recently, within the last 6 months, we've taken the oldest marriage license records that are handwritten back to the 1860s, and we had the paper licenses treated and preserved and encased in a protective coating and then bound in books that are metal, and they're designed to withstand fire and water damage and not deteriorate anymore. And we did that with 12 books this last year. I'm really proud of that, and you can see a picture up there. It's kind of a metal casing that the documents sit in, and they stand up like that, so that if water hits them, it rolls right off, and it's sealed completely on the top. So I'm very proud of that effort. And as the staff report reads, I am recommending my Chief Deputy Jan to fill my shoes. She's worked with me really closely the last 5 years. She's been a tremendous right-hand person, and she's more than capable of taking over and filling my shoes and keeping with the integrity of the clerk's office and the public records for your citizens. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I hope you'll appoint Jan, and then I will know that my office is secure for the future.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We so appreciate everything you've done. You've been wonderful to work with, and we have enjoyed you. And since I've been on for the last going on 8 years, it's been a great pleasure to work with you. So thank you very much for all you've done, and I hope you enjoy retirement and playing with those babies.
I will. Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Hartung?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Parent, I mean, what can I say? We've had a wonderful working relationship. You're a great colleague. You've been a wonderful friend. I'm so impressed with the marriage licenses. My uncle and my aunt got married in Reno right during the war, essentially, before he was shipped off. And he was a B-25 pilot in the South Pacific. But it's wonderful that those records are preserved. I'm indebted to you for my own family, so I think that's incredible. And not to mention my own marriage in
Wasn't that long ago,
in
though.
1984. It was long enough. So thanks for all the hard work. And I remember when the microfilm was deteriorating, and you guys jumped into action. You saved that. Those records are essential. Microfilm was the technology of the day, and blessedly, you guys recognized that it was deteriorating and didn't just let it go. So we'll miss you dearly and deeply, but we really appreciate your hard work, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Do either of the other commissioners, Mr. Chair or Commissioner Jung, have something to add?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Chair, go right ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Parent, thank you again for your continued service as the Washoe County Clerk. Your office has been an essential part of our government and the maintenance of those records within our community. I wish you the best in regards to your retirement. However, one thing I would ask our commission before we move forward with this item, it has been our process in years past to open when an elected official does step down from office, to open that up for open assignments, so to speak, We did not do that for your office, Ms. Parent, and I was just kind of trying to figure out why we have not done that and what the process was behind that.
Mr. Chair, in the past, when elected offices such as the clerk, recorder, treasurer, and I'm not sure about assessor, but it has been the custom for at least the last 20 years, when someone retires midterm, that typically they recommend someone within their office to ensure continuity and security of the office for the remainder of the term. It has never been handled much like you handle the legislature's positions.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that clarification. Thank you, Ms. Parent. I appreciate it, and wish you the best in your retirement. Thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there with you today.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jung?
Yeah, I just would like to say as well to Ms. Parent how much I respect the fact that you've dedicated your area of expertise, your knowledge, your attention to detail to the public and being a public servant. I know it's sometimes very difficult and in a way that many of us don't know because we don't run a whole office that's public facing and day in and day out, and then have the NRS, which is so prescriptive on how you actually fulfill those duties. So I am so happy that you chose to dedicate your diligence. You are a hard worker, and you are a very good rule follower, which is exactly what we need from a clerk. And I wish you all the very best in your retirement. And I know we'll see you again because every public servant, including elected department heads, are always involved at somewhere and someplace because they have that spirit, which I wish there was more of in this world, that the most important duty you can do as a human being is to serve others. So I commend you. I know we've gone through a lot of tough times together in terms of budgeting and with the previous clerk, Ms. Purdy, who I love and adore. And you've always stuck there with us and went with the flow with us. So I wish you all very best to you from the bottom of my heart, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Jung. And I'm guessing Ms. Grassini wants to come forward and speak a little bit. Galassini. I always need somebody to speak the language to me.
It's phonetically correct, but I've been called lots of different things.
I know. That's like Burke Bigler. I understand.
So Jan Galassini for the record. And of course, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Nancy. And her mentorship, her guidance, her knowledge, her feistiness. She has introduced me to the legislature. She's introduced me to every county clerk in the state. She's demonstrated the value of teamwork, the value of great customer service, and I think our office exemplifies that. And she's not only been all of that, she's been my friend, and I will seriously miss her in the office.
Thank you, Ms. Glassini. You know, if Nancy thinks you're the right person for the job, Jan, I tend to agree with her. So thank you very much, and I know it's going to be fun working with you, and so thank you for stepping in and taking this very important job over. It's an important job to county management, but it's an even more important job to the citizens of Washoe County. So thank you for being willing to come forward.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hartung?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to point out a couple of things, and then I have a question for legal, just in terms of sort of the way things would work here. First, when Kathy Burke, the recorder, retired, we appointed her deputy, which was Larry Burtness, because Larry had an intimate knowledge of the operation of the office and understood exactly how it needed to be done until the next regular election could be held. When Amy Harvey retired, we appointed Ms. Parent, and because Ms. Parent knew the operation of the office and understood exactly how things needed to be run. And the clerk's office is it's an integral part of what the county does and what the commission does. So it's extremely important. For Mr. Wattsvial, we're styled to take, to accept the resignation of Miss Nancy Parent and to appoint Miss Janice Galassini. Is that two functions, or is it all one, Mr. Wattsvial? Do we need two motions, one to accept the resignation and then a second motion to appoint, or can it all be done in one fell swoop?
Morning, for the record, Dave Wattsvial. You can do it all in one fell swoop. I would ask that you make the motion to accept the resignation and to appoint Ms. Galassini. The motion doesn't say that on the staff report, but that's what it should say on there. It should do both at the same time. It is acceptable to do it that way. And then the last thing I wanted to note was that the statute doesn't require that that Ms. Galassini be appointed or anybody else be appointed. The statute simply says the Board of County Commissioners shall appoint a suitable person who is an elector of the unincorporated, I'm not sure why that says unincorporated town, but that's what it says, to serve the remainder of the unexpired term. So in any case, if the board chose to, it could seek out other applicants. I believe Ms. Parent is correct that there has been something of a tradition with the board to accept the recommendation of the incumbent, which would make obviously an abundant amount of sense. So, but just wanted to make clear that the law doesn't require that the board accept that recommend.
Okay?
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you, Mr. DA. I have on here, any other comments from any of the other commissioners? Mr. Chair, Commissioner Jung?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
All right. I have on here one public comment, so let's go to public comment. And Go
Yes,
ahead.
so we have one email from Anne Marie Grant. Anne Marie Grant, for the record, my comment is to express my sadness and learning of.
Could I just make a quick correction to the record?
Yes, you certainly can.
Yeah, I may have cited to 245.170 sub 2. The correct citation is 245.170 sub 1 sub B.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Wattsvial. All right. So I'm going to say that the motion has been confirmed as passing with Commissioner Herman missing from our dais today. So with that, we will, yes, please confirm your vote up there. So we will say this motion carries. And we will miss you again, Madam Clerk. I'm going to call you Madam Clerk as long as I get to.
Okay.
And Ms. Galassini.
I thank you all for the vote of confidence, and I promise I will try to fill Nancy's shoes the best that I can.
Thank you very much. No doubt you will. Thank you. All right. With that, Mr. Manager, we are moving on to item number 10.
Item number 10 is a recommendation and possible action pursuant to NRS 295.121 to appoint Michael Evans, Tom Prentice, and Kenji Otto to serve on the committee advocating in support of passage of ballot question WC1, petition number 1, and John Glather and Greg Dennis to serve on the committee in opposition to the passage of ballot question WC1, petition number 1, and to appoint Hugh Ezel, Kevin Cook, and Heather Cook to serve on the committee advocating in support of passage of ballot question W2, petition number 2, and Sharon Gustafson and Greg Dennis to serve on the committee in opposition of passage of ballot question W2, position number 2. Both ballot questions have been approved for placement on the general election ballot by the Board of County Commissioners for creation of the unincorporated town of Warm Springs Valley. Petitions number 1 and number 2, respectively.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I see that we have Deanna Spicula here, our Registrar of Voters. Ms. Spicula, if you have any comments to make. But let me ask first, that just for public record, this is standard procedure. Whenever there's a ballot question put up, we always have someone who will help write the reasons why and the reasons in opposition. So there's the pro and the con sides, and that's what we're doing here, is approving these. Commissioners, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Spicula? I'm hearing nothing. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Deanna Spicula, Registrar of Voters. Just that is the process that the Board of County Commissioners will appoint members to serve on the Arguments Committee, those in favor of and those against passage of the ballot questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Spicula. Do we have any public comment on this, Madam Clerk?
No, we do not. No emails that I'm aware of.
Any Zoom? Okay, we have no public comment. I'm looking for a motion.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Hartung.
Motion to approve as listed in the staff report with all of the names of both pro and con for ballot questions WC1 and WC2.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And with that, we've asked for public comment, so any other comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries with all four commissioners voting and Commissioner Herman absent today. Thank you very much, and thank you, Ms. Spicula. We appreciate you being here. I see her. I said we appreciate her being here. With Mr. Manager.
Item number 11 is a recommendation to approve the purchase of Criterion Elevate vote-by-mail sorting system from the Fluence Automation in the amount of $349,040 for use of in the upcoming general election, and accept the subaward of HAVA CARES Act funding between the County of Washoe and then the State of Nevada for the reimbursement for the cost for this sorting system in an amount not to exceed $441,826, no match required. The subaward period is retroactive from March 23rd, 2020 through December 1st, 2020. If approved, direct the Comptroller's Office to make the necessary budget amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Ms. Spicula. Have some comments to make?
Deanna Spicula, Registrar of Voters. We are seeking to purchase, and we put this out to bid, and the winner was the Fluence ballot sorting system provided by Criterion Elevate. And this is a sorting system to help alleviate some of the manual labor that is done in the sorting of mail-in and absentee ballots as they're returned to our office. It would be a very large efficiency gain for Washoe County and how we process those ballots. We have also, there's been a sub-grant award from the state using the HAVA CARES Act funding to reimburse us for the cost of buying the sorter. However, after the initial purchase, any maintenance and licensing costs will fall to the county to provide for future years.
Okay. Any questions from any of the commissioners? Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Spicula, where will this be located? Will it be here at the county complex, or will we need to lease a secondary place?
Yeah, Deanna Spicula, Registrar of Voters. It will be located in our back area where we process absentee ballots. That way it is close to where, after the sorting, they can be processed. So it will be, it will be located in our facility.
In a secure place?
Yes.
Is my point.
Yes.
That's the reason for my asking that.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Miss, yeah. Secure location.
That's all I wanted on the record. Thank you, Ms. Spicula. Thank
You're
you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hartung. Mr. Chair or Commissioner Jung, any questions, comments?
Nothing for me, Madam.
All right. Do we have any public comments?
I have one person. Well, it's just Commissioner Hartung. Maybe
I have, he already,
No,
Sorry, I
that's-
was
I'm sorry,
working on
that's not
something
public.
else. No, I have no public comment.
No.
all right, nothing on Zoom? All right, with that, I am looking for a motion.
Motion to approve as written in the staff report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hartung. Do I have a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With that, we have a motion, a second. We've done public comment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Did I hear Commissioner
I
Jung?
didn't hear Commissioner Jung.
Sorry, I said aye.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right.
Good job, Madam Chair, and good job for using the CARES Act money. That's not a dime from our pocket. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Motion carries 4-0 with all the commissioners voting and Commissioner Herman absent today. Thank you very much, Ms. Spicula, again. And it's a pleasure to see your smiling face, even through a mask.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
I believe we're on to public comment. Item number 12. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the commission agenda. The commission will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the commission as a whole.
I see nothing on my screen. Do you have anything, Madam Clerk?
I have no emails.
Any Zoom? All right, with that, we will close public comment and bring it back to the board. Mr. Manager, item 13.
Item 13 is commissioners and county manager announcements, reports, and updates to include boards and commission updates, requests for information or topics for future agendas. And Madam Vice Chair, I have nothing further to add.
All right. Commissioner Hartung? Mr. Chair or Commissioner Jung?
Nothing, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right. With that, then, we will close item 13, and we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.